Hey Top 10ers, what's going on? I'm your host Joss. Welcome back to Top 10 Beyond the Screen. Make sure you're following the BTS team on social media. All of our links are down below. And hang out with me until the end of this video to watch me do some comment shoutouts. We love hearing from you guys, so do not be shy in the comments. Speak your mind. We don't judge. On today's list, we are talking about times that celebrities were fired. Maybe you've been fired from a job. The reason could have been valid or just one big misunderstanding, but either way, the company let you go. But can you imagine being fired from a company like Disney? Probably not, but the people on our list can. Let's jump into today's list of top 10 celebrities who were fired by Disney. Starting off the list at number 10 is Chloe Grace Moretz. The poor girl was forced out of Disney even though she had a squeaky clean record. It was for a pretty simple reason. They found someone better. Well, in their opinion, that is. If you remember the 2008 Disney movie Bolt, you will remember that Miley Cyrus was the voice of the main character named Penny. However, Miley actually wasn't the original person who was supposed to have the role. It was actually given to Chloe first. She did all of her recordings for the entire movie before Disney decided to replace her last minute. The reasoning was that Miley's fame was on the rise at the time and they wanted to use a bigger star and a bigger name. The only good news to this story is that even though they fired her from the role, they did keep some of her voice work to use as a younger Penny and still gave her credit in the movie. But the majority of her hard work was wiped out, which she may still be holding a grudge towards because years later, she was attached to the new live-action Little Mermaid film but left the project on her own because she was too busy. Too busy or a little bitter? We may never know. At number 9 is Jake Paul. You would know him as one of the most famous, loudest, and most obnoxious YouTubers in the whole world. He's both loved and hated by many people. It really just depends if you can handle his personality or not. Outside of his YouTube career, he started to get involved in other projects, and one of them led him to starring on the Disney show Bizaardvark. The show actually helped him reach some legitimate fame, but some of his behavior on YouTube led him to getting fired from the show. They simply couldn't support the incidents he was getting himself involved in. The thing is, Jake went on to say that leaving the show was his decision, but I feel like we all know what's up and what really went down. However, I will let you guys decide the truth. Tell me down in the comments which story you believe. Was he fired or did he quit? Up next at number 8 is Mitchell Musso. People fell in love with this Disney star when he took on the role of Oliver in the Hannah Montana series. He was Miley Cyrus's hilarious best friend. From there, he continued a successful career with Disney, doing voiceover work in the show Phineas and Ferb, and then went on to star on another Disney show called Pair of Kings. He had a great reputation in the Disney universe, but things started to go south. He was forced to leave earlier than planned after he was arrested for a DUI back in 2011. The arrest itself was bad enough, but what made everything worse was that his blood alcohol level was significantly over the limit, and he was only 20 years old at the time. So he wasn't even legal or old enough to be drinking. Turns out that he spent a few hours in the drunk tank and was released when he was in a better state. He was fired from the show immediately and hasn't worked with them ever since. He hasn't worked much in general ever since, to be honest. Which is a shame because I actually loved him on Hannah Montana. Sliding into the number 7 spot is Megan Mullally. Depending on how old you are, you might know her from a few different TV shows. Younger fans probably know her as Tammy from the show Parks and Recreation, and older fans know her as Karen Walker from Will and Grace. I am older fans. I know her from Will and Grace. Most people don't know that she was actually attached to a Disney project during her time on that show. She was hired to do voiceover work for a character in Finding Nemo. It's been reported that the studio told her she could use whatever voice she wanted to do with that character, so that's what she did. She didn't want to do that really high-pitched, annoying, squeaky Karen voice, but that's what they were hoping for. Turns out that she refused to do that voice, and they ended up firing her from the movie. She'd already started recording for the part, and every time she would get in the recording booth, she was encouraged to raise her voice higher. When speaking about it, she said, "That voice was used for boozy, sharp-tongued Karen Walker on Will and Grace, so why would Disney want to be associated with that?" You know, she raises a good point. And at number 6 is Jake T. Austin. He rose to fame when he played Selena Gomez's brother on the Disney series Wizards of Waverly Place. From there, his career continued with Disney Productions, and he later starred on an ABC family show called The Fosters. But he started making some headlines for some bad behavior. It all started at the 2014 Teen Choice Awards when he approached the gifting suite backstage and security didn't allow him in because they didn't recognize him. That's never a humbling moment for an actor. Jake ended up throwing a big tantrum and he started screaming, swearing, and throwing things. And yes, he pulled the classic line, "Do you know who I am?" But then he quickly answered his own question and said, I quote, "I'm a presenter. Who the f are you? Disney didn't stand for his little freak out moment and fired him not too long after from his role on The Fosters. He also had legal issues on his record. He was charged as an underage drinker and was also involved in a 4-car hit and run crash. So they had more than one reason backing up their decision to let him go. Halfway through the list, at number 5 is Lainey. Yes, she goes by one name. If you were a Lizzie McGuire fan, you would know Lainey for playing her best friend Miranda. She was one of Disney's biggest stars at the time, starring alongside Hilary Duff on that wildly popular show. But out of nowhere, Lainey went MIA and we didn't see her character in the last few episodes of the series. Not only that, but when the Lizzie McGuire movie came out later on, everyone reprised their role except for her. In the movie, they said that her character was on vacation with her family in Mexico. Fans were wondering what actually was going down behind the scenes, and turns out she was let go by Disney. She was having some personal struggles and was arrested for possession of meth in 2008, so it was pretty serious. She hid her problems for a while until she started to miss court dates and had a warrant out for her arrest. She was basically forced to plead guilty of the possession no matter what because of all the times that she was skipping out on court. However, we recently found out that there is going to be a Lizzie McGuire reboot, so we're going to have to wait and see if Miranda will show up this time, or if she's even invited. Next up at number 4 is Steve Whitmire. His name might not sound familiar to you, but his voice would. He was the voice of Kermit the Frog for 27 years. He was known for being the Green Frog up until he was fired in 2017 for reasons we aren't really sure of. It was in July that year that news hit the internet saying Matt Vogel would be replacing him. Steve finally came forward and explained that Disney actually fired him way back in October, but was only making it public now because they had a replacement for him. The studio said that he was fired due to, I quote, unacceptable business conduct that they asked him to work on for months. Apparently he didn't show up to set sometimes, and he sent emails in which he attacked the writers and director. However, Steve tells it differently and says they had a disagreement on the new scripts they were creating for the new ABC series. One disagreement they had was the script said Kermit lied to his nephew Robin about his breakup with Miss Piggy. Steve was firm on his beliefs that Kermit wouldn't lie to him. So it all just kinda seems like they weren't getting on the same page about a lot of things. But really, to fire someone? I don't know. Here we are, number 3 with Ryan Gosling. Remember when he was a mousekeeper with Britney Spears and Justin Timberlake all those years ago? Well, apparently 12-year-old Ryan had a bit of an attitude problem while starring on the Mickey Mouse Club. His attitude was so bad, it's the reason he was fired. During an interview in 2008, he spoke about it and said that he was considered to be such a bad influence on his other co-stars that their mothers actually complained to the studio about it. At that point, he was told by the studio that he basically wasn't Disney material because they needed someone mature enough to educate a young audience about mature topics. I'm not sure what they really expected from a 12-year-old. Disney would have never hired me at 12 years old. Despite being let go, it's safe to say his career did not suffer because of it. Taking over spot number 2 is PewDiePie. He's the biggest YouTube star pretty much of all time. He's made a life for himself simply by his YouTube channel, and because he was making so much money on the platform, he was signed by Disney for some deals. They had him on their roster to have him involved in promotions and any other lineups that they had in store for him. But only 1 month after signing a deal with them, they decided to fire him and called off the deal. Why? Because one of his YouTube videos was completely inappropriate to be under a name like Disney. He posted a video that showed 2 men laughing together as they held up a sign reading "Death to all Jews." The video caused tons of controversy and was eventually removed. PewDiePie admitted he had paid the 2 men to do it and issued an apology saying that he was simply kidding. But Disney quickly cut ties with him, joking or not. Taking the number 1 spot on our list is Bella Thorne. The actress has been open about her time on Disney and all the struggles she faced when it came to the pressure of having that Disney image. She told the story of the time she was almost fired when she was 12 after she took a picture on a beach in a black bikini that her mom had bought her. They said it was too much skin and threatened to kick her off Shake It Up, the TV series that she starred in. But more recently in 2016, she spoke about how she left Disney, and turns out that they terminated her contract as soon as her show came to an end. The good news is she was happy about it. She told Nylon, I quote, "When I got off the Disney Channel, I stopped listening to people telling me what I needed to be, this and that. I literally would talk with a higher voice in interviews because that was the whole innocent Disney appeal." Needless to say, being let go was just a blessing in disguise for her. Alright you guys, that is our list for today. Show us some love and hit that thumbs up button if you enjoyed it, and share your thoughts and feelings with me down in the comments. I want to hear from you. For now, let's finish off the video with some comment shoutouts. James Haney says, "I don't want to live on this planet anymore with stupid people like this." Same. Please take me with you. James Frazier said, "You have a chance with any guy you want, Joss. Go for your dreams." Well thanks, but I'm still out here trying to get Zac Efron, you know? It really doesn't seem to be working. Healthy Noodles says, I am a teacher. Every day is a pay it forward day. You are absolutely right. I give so much credit to teachers. Good for you. Teen Morrow says, my church gives out food to the neighborhood in Detroit. Everyone here in the community has been hit hard. That is an amazing act of kindness. I'm actually originally from Windsor, so I have spent a lot of time in Detroit. I love Detroit. Alright guys, we did it. We reached the end. Thanks for hanging out with me. If you want to keep watching more Beyond the Screen videos, just stay on this screen and click the icon that will appear right over here. I'm your host Joss, and I will see you in the next video.